What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Patrick here. Moving on to the next counting question. So a class has a grading system consisting of 3 letters. Either you can get an A, B, or C. How many ways can the grades be assigned for 8 students? So let's pretend there's 8 students in the class. Each of them is either going to be assigned an A, B, or a C. Usually there are more letters, but I kept it to 3 just to show you clearly what's going to happen, make it a little bit more simple. And then if there are more letters, let's say it was 8, you can get an A, B, C, D, E, or F. You can just adjust this number. This number is 3 in this case. There's 3 letters, but if there's more letters, you can just adjust it. So to show what's going on visually, you can actually show this through a tree diagram. It would end up being a very large tree diagram if we made it for all 8 students, but let's do it for the first 2. So what would happen is the first student, they're either going to get an A, B, or C. And so then the second student, if the first student gets an A, the second student can either get an A, B, or a C. If the first student gets a B, then the second student can either get an A, B, or C still. And if the first student gets a C, then the second student still can either get an A, B, or C. So for the first student, notice that there are 3 possibilities. If we add the second student, while still taking the first student into account, how many possibilities are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there would be 9 possibilities. So if we had a class of 2 students, there would be 9 possibilities in which the grades can be assigned. So the first student can get an A and the second student can get an A, or the first student can get an A and the second student will get a B, etc., etc. And so continuing this pattern, if there were 3 students in the class, each of these would have 3 branches. And so we would just take these 9 branches and multiply them by another 3. Right? So this, if you ended up doing that, counting all those branches here, you'd have 9 times 3, which would give you 27. And then those 27 branches would have 3 branches for the 4th student, etc., etc. And so what we're doing is we're continually multiplying by 3. And just to generalize it even further, notice that if there's 1 student in a class, this would be 3 to the power of 1. You're only multiplying the 3 once, or there's only a 3 there. You're not even multiplying anything. But if there's 2 students in the class, you would take this 3 and multiply by another 3, so it would be 3 to the power of 2, and then 3 to the power of 3, etc., etc. And so you can just adjust for n students. So if this was n students, the number of ways would be 3 to the power of n. This would be for n students. Right? So that would be the general case. And then if there's, again, as I mentioned, more than 3 letters for the grading system, you would just adjust this base over here, because instead of 3 branches, there would be, for example, maybe 5 branches in each one. So you'd have 5 times 5 times 5. So this would be the, this base here would be the number of letters in the grading system. And so for this specific question, there's 8 students we'd be working with, so 3 to the power of 8, and this would end up being 6,561. And so that ends up being the final answer. That's the number of ways the grades can be assigned for a class of 8 students.